Watch this video if you're tired of your belly fat and you want to finally lose it all. I've lost my belly fat 7 times over the last 10 years from 2014 until 2024, and it is so easy. And I know exactly what to do to be able to lose your belly fat. I have also coached people over the last decade so that they can achieve a similar result, men and women alike. Look at Shannon, look at my client Dwayne, 80 years young, and look at how incredible Dwayne is, and that was his first time finally seeing a six-pack. So the point I want to make is that I'm finally going to show you what it takes and what you need to do to finally lose your belly fat. And it's contrary to all the things that you've heard before: calories in, calories out, intermittent fasting, walking. By now you've probably heard all of those things if you're truly interested in losing your belly fat. But the 5 things I'm going to share with you in this video, it may be the missing key that you need to unlock your belly fat and to release this fat from your frame. I've done this with women. I've done this with clients like Avalon Centauri, who were dad bods and finally got into amazing shape and even won competitions after the advice I shared with them. I felt very guilty because the advice I'm about to share with you is the advice I share with my clients because I know it's what's required for them to see results. So if what I'm about to say is harsh, know that it comes from a place of good and that I just want to help you. So I highly recommend you watch this video to the very end. And if you do, it may be the key that you need to unlock to release all your belly fat finally. And you guys may be asking, Dr. Mike, why did you do that so many times? Why did you lose your belly fat and regain it? For 2 reasons. One, I wanted to show you that it's too easy. The second reason is that as I was going through medical school and becoming a medical doctor, I decided I also want to have the title of being a professional natural bodybuilder. And I finally achieved that after 10 years and becoming a men's physique champ. With that being said, let's not waste any time and let's dive straight in. The first thing that is stopping you from unlocking your belly fat is your mindset. And I'm going to explain a few things. I'm going to explain something that is called your twin theory, and I created that. I'm also going to explain the thing that is holding people back. Now, twin theory is this: you have one version of yourself, the version that you are right now, and believe this second version to be in an alternate reality. The second version of you who says, I am going to get this no matter what. I don't care. This is my number one goal. I may have family. I may have people around me who don't support me. I may have all these obstacles I need to overcome. The twin who decides that they want to be better, is always going to be more well equipped than the original twin. So it is up to you to decide in your own twin theory which version you want to be. And I always see this. I see versions of people who always make excuses and they always blame people. I'm too busy. And my argument is, everyone has the same 24 hours. I work with some of the busiest people in the world and they make it happen. I also hear people blame their family. My kids carry snacks around. My family has foods that aren't favorable. My family doesn't support me. And I tell them at the end of the day, look, you're in control of your mouth and you can control it. So for you to be finally able to lose your belly fat, you need to ignore all excuses and stop making excuses. This version of you must never exist. And again, as you grow as a person, you will always find yourself having different excuses, but you need to identify that that version of you needs to no longer exist. And in the twin theory, you need to start executing the habits, which will then become consistent habits that will finally allow you to become the version of yourself that you want to be. And with all my clients, the people that I led into my coaching are the people who finally made a decision. And then you guys may be asking, Dr. Mike, how can I? I'm stuck, I've tried. And I've thought about this a lot. And the real reason is you need to have a strong why. Let me explain. When I lost my belly fat the first couple of times, I wanted to find a girlfriend. I wanted to be an attractive male. I wanted to have more confidence. And I did it in those turns. And essentially I achieved that goal. But in each and every other single transformation that you guys saw me gain belly fat and lose it, I then changed my why from being more so women or success, but I wanted to achieve a particular goal. I wanted to achieve an unfulfilled desire of becoming a men's physique champ. And this drove me for years and years. So my question to you is, figure out what is your why. And sometimes it's just about writing it down. It's thinking about, is it for your kids? Is it so that you're healthier in the future? And for the 20-year-olds who are watching this and think, you know what, it's so easy, you need to prepare for the version of you that's going to be 30. You need to take care of yourself today so your past self can thank you one day. If you're 30 years old, You're not getting any younger. Things will get more difficult. And all my clients are 30, 40, and 50 because they realize too late. So finally realize that your health is imperative. I could give you $10 million today, but if you only had one day to live, what would you choose? More life or the money? You're always going to choose life. So make sure that you make this a priority. And even in some cases, and I just want to illustrate this point, sports legends like Michael Jordan, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, or whatever sport you love, they always have a strong why. It's a championship. It's to be the greatest and to be the best version of themselves. So for you, number one, figure out your why, then look at your twin theory and decide which version of yourself do you want to become, and then keep repeating the tasks that version that you want to become does, and eventually that will become your new identity. So if you're a person who says, I'm going to eat healthy, you're a person who's going to drink water every day, you're a person who says, okay, I'm not going to do a cheat meal 5 times in a week, I'm going to go 2 times in a week. Watch yourself flourish, change from this caterpillar to this beautiful butterfly. And that is what progress looks like. And I am telling you, for those of you who have a belly, remember this. That belly is as a result of eating, because you're eating so much. And again, there might be unique cases, which I'm going to talk about in 2, 3, 4, and 5, that may apply to you directly, but a lot of that is mindset. If you're at 30% body fat, it is speaking to your mindset, so change that. But you may be like, Mike, you're preaching here. Okay, let's talk about 2, 3, and 4, and 5. I mean, maybe this will speak a little bit more to you. And I want to leave it just with this. The mind drives your body. Your mind will create habits, and your habits will become consistent habits, which will then equal a result of those habits that you repeat daily. So if you eat really well every day, you will see this flourish. If you walk 10,000 steps every day, you will see this flourish. And all the decisions, even in the tough ones, right? What do I do if I'm going out? What am I doing here? Just making the right decision will always lead you to a better result. Let's move on to reason number 2. Reason number 2 is your environment. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes behavior. And this cannot be more true. So if you live in a home that has cookies in cupboards, cookies on the desk, people bring cakes all around you, your fridge is just full of junk. And using the twin theory, let's picture an alternate reality where none of this food exists in your home. Imagine what happens. I also want to say this, something that most coaches won't say. We're living in a world where it is designed for you to have belly fat. Think about it. There's more and more fast food restaurants around you. Ordering fast food could never be easier. Uber Eats requires a few clicks of a button and the food is right at your door. Starbucks, and I'm not even going to go into detail, but so many fast food chains are around you. Think about it. When you're in an aisle to pay for your groceries, there are foods that aren't to your benefit to the left and to the right, tempting you. And if you think about it, these billion-dollar corporations, when they design these foods, you think they just throw it together and then just let it go? They are meticulous about every single ingredient that they put in there so that they can maximize profit. So again, environment plays a major role, and this is why obesity rates are increasing. It becomes increasingly easier to eat all these foods that aren't beneficial to us. And then secondly, it's also the people around us, right? So I've talked about your actual physical environment. My advice to you is delete the apps. The second advice, don't buy food that will not fuel the goal that you're after. Don't keep it in your house. And if you do, let's say you live with roommates or your parents are around, ask them to put it in the top shelf cupboard, where it may require you to have to get on a little stair or step on a chair. And what this will do is that it will create an extra step for you to have access to this food that may not be to your benefit. So shaping your environment and even making undesirable things more difficult to attain will help you. Rather buy healthier alternatives, right? So if you love eating mangoes, right, or maybe foods that are high in sugar, maybe switch that to apples. If you're someone who likes candy, maybe switch that to Jellos. If you like sodas, maybe go for 0-calorie drinks. I believe that there's always a healthy alternative to all the foods you like. So this way, you can shape your environment to be to your benefit. Myself, I eat ice cream every day, and I became a men's physique champion doing so because I found healthy alternatives. And then finally, your friends, the people around you. People are influenced by three people: your family, your tribe, which is your friends around you, and your idols. If you're following people who are eating junk, right, on social media, and that's all they do, what's the likelihood you're gonna copy them? Very high. If your friends are drinking alcohol every weekend and they just want to eat out, what's the likelihood that you follow that path? Very, very high. And finally, if your family is also eating foods that aren't conducive to your goals, the likelihood that you gain weight is very, very high. So to your ability, try your level best to control your environment. So if you can change that, even if you can improve it by 1%, you will be shocked by the results and the version you become at the end. And research has even shown, right, that if one person in your family or in your immediate circle becomes obese, there's an over 50% chance you become obese as well. There is a verified study showing this. And the same applies in the opposite direction. If someone in your surrounding becomes lean, the likelihood that you become lean is very, very high. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. And that's number 2. Try and shape your environment so much. And I'm telling you, just doing that alone can take you from 30% to 20%. Look at one of my clients, and his name is Harry. When I started working with Harry, and we've dropped over 100 pounds together, look at this incredible transformation. 10 months of working with me, and the man looks like he's ready to win any show. And this is so incredible. I love this. It's because once the person decided, they fix their mindset. Environment is something you can change. You have control over that, right? No one is forcing you to do anything. And with that being said, I'm looking for 5 busy women, like Dr. Ruth, my client, who wanted to lose her baby weight and she was struggling to do so, and I helped her do that. Or you're at 40 and you believe menopause may be hurting you in terms of seeing your results, and you've tried many different things, done with the excuses, and you want a guaranteed result. You want to work with a team of doctors who can explain the science to you and can help you get to a result. Go into the description below. I want to work with 5 women as a case study. Fill out the application, and we'll jump on a call and really discuss what your goals are, what your why is, what you've tried before. And in the event that I can help you, I'll tell you all about my DNA sequence, the formula I utilize to see success with each client you've ever seen me work, and then we'll be able to get to your goal. But let's move on to tip number 3, failure. Now, when you lose belly fat, or if you've tried to lose belly fat, you've probably failed. And this is the biggest knife for everybody that stabs them in the back. They fail and they're like, it's all over. Or they have a cheat meal or a cheat weekend and they just say it's all over. And again, this goes back to mindset. But failure shouldn't be the end of your journey. You only fail when you give up. But let's say you had a bad day on the diet, or you were binge eating, or you went out with your friends and it ruined your diet. That is not a failure. It is a lesson. So in the future, when you find yourself in those scenarios again, make a better decision the next time. Learn from it. Learn from the mistakes you made. And if you look at my entire journey, and even till today, I make mistakes all the time. The big difference between people who lose their belly fat and people who never did, the people who lose their belly fat understand that they will fail and that they've failed before, but they will pick themselves back up the next day and they will do better. They will make a better decision. So I encourage you in the future, and this is a nice little rule. It's called the 2 days in a row rule. Never do something 2 days in a row. So if you missed one workout, don't miss 2 workouts back to back. If you have 1 cheat meal, don't have 2 cheat meals back to back. Get back on the horse. So never fail twice in a row. Only allow yourself once. And again, guys, in the scope of a year, if you just have that mindset, right, you will be so much better at the end of a 3, 4, 5 month journey. I'll tell you this. Every single client that you guys are seeing on the screen right now has failed in some capacity. They got sick. They tripped on their diet, they cheated, something happened in their life. But at the end of the 16 weeks, which is also why I tell people we cannot work any less, because this is a journey. They became the best versions of themselves, because adversity, going through a struggle, is a privilege because it will teach you. It's the best teacher that you could ever ask for. So accept that failure will happen and just say that, you know what, I'm going to learn from my failures and I'm going to move forward. And that's what trips up a lot of people at losing their belly fat, and then they actually end up progressing and then doing so much more. So again, never fail twice in a row. If you do, then just say, you know what, I am going to try again. Just don't give up. Now, let's move into number 4. And that is extreme behavior will give you extreme failure. Let me explain. All the people who did something extreme, in my personal opinion, this is from my experience, when I saw people cut out complete food groups, cut out all carbs, cut out all fats, or cut out all something, or they said, I'm going to do a water fast for 1 week, or I'm going to only eat X for 1 week. When it was extreme, it always resulted in extreme behavior. Why? Because everything in life has a cause and an effect. So there will be a result, there'll be a consequence of something that you do. Example, when you cut your calories too drastically, your body will give a hormonal response for you to feed to replenish all the calories that you haven't given it. It is a survival mechanism. So you find yourself fighting against these natural things that happen in life. This isn't a blanket statement. You'll find the percentage of people that keto works for, or low carb, or paleo, or being on a vegan diet works for. But in my opinion, and not that I'm quoting those extremes, when people decide to go far left or far right, usually results in failure. What is actually very difficult to do is just to find balance. People struggle with that. Now again, you're either on the black side or on the white side, and I mean like drawing a line in the middle. You're either positive or negative. You're either on or off. You need to try and find balance in the middle. So if you're doing something extreme, like a 30-day challenge where you're eating nothing, or something that you know, hey, I probably cannot do this the rest of my life, it is usually a setup for failure. So be very careful with the decisions you make with your body, because in most cases, they put you in a scenario that you'll be in a worse position. I'll give you another example. I believe Ozempic has a net positive effect on the world. However, what Ozempic basically does, you'll eat less, right? Putting you in a caloric deficit. My question is, when you stop taking an Ozempic, what then? Right? You haven't learned the skills to be able to maintain this new weight. So what's the point of doing that? Same thing when people do surgeries. The surgery may be helpful, but what happens as time progresses again? And I tell people this all the time. All these things is symptomatic treatment. It's like you're treating a cough with cough syrup, but what if you have C19, for example? You're not treating the main problem. So save yourself the pain and the heartache. Just do it the right way once. And then the final one, which is, again, in my opinion, the most controversial, is finally get a coach. Get a coach can be one of the best things to do to be able to lose your belly fat, and I'll tell you why. In the world, we will always have the president, and you'll have everybody following someone. We will always have a leader position. In a soccer team, there is a leader. Everyone follows the leader. In a company, you have a CEO. Everyone follows the CEO. These are the systems socially that we follow that allow us as a society to move forward. We've never figured out something that works better. And the same works with coaching. Think about great athletes. Think about great companies. They always have someone who will be able to subjectively tell them, let's go this way. This is how you do it, and everyone else does it. When you have a coach, it allows you to focus in on doing the things, the habits that you need to every day to get a result. And it also allows you to not get emotionally attached to this plan that you've created or to this idea that you have. And it will allow you the quickest path from where you are right now, let's call that 30%, to get to 10%, because you have someone watching over you and giving you the best advice for your own benefit, removing your poor judgment and your emotional decisions from that process. And why I say this is like the most important is I have a coach right now for my health and fitness, not because I need the information, but because I prefer someone to subjectively tell me, do XYZ next, and I can just focus on executing the task the best. When I finally got a mentor for business, it allowed me to grow so much quicker because I had someone who's done it before, who knows exactly all the mistakes that he's made, and he's gonna help me avoid those mistakes and tell me how to get to my goal as quickly as possible. That will always give you the best return on your investment, because what that does is that it buys you time. It buys you all the time that they spent, the 10 years, the 20 years, in research and practice and in failure, and allows you to achieve something amazing. That's why we have such a high success rate, because I know what my clients need, what they need to hear, because I was them once upon a time. So if you finally want to lose your belly fat and you've tried everything, get a coach. It doesn't have to be me. It can be anybody you follow online. But if it is me and you trust me, then fill out the application below. But for anybody watching this, find someone that you trust, invest in them, and voila, your belly fat will be gone. I am telling you, that is one thing that I can assure you. But I'll leave the video here. If you guys like these type of videos, if you want me to more talk about the mindset that you need to have to get to 10% and to lose your belly fat, leave the video the gentle thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.